Poverty is not always the absence of money. Sometimes it's the absence of awareness, the absence of discipline, the absence of brutal honesty with yourself. And that is why millions of people stay trapped. Not because the world is impossible to beat, but because they keep fighting the wrong enemy. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something centuries ago that most people still refuse to accept. Power does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the person who understands reality better than everyone else. If you want to escape poverty, you must first escape the lies that keep you comfortable. This video is not about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about psychological warfare against the habits, beliefs, and emotions that quietly keep people poor for decades. Some of these lessons will offend you. Some will challenge everything you've been taught. But if you stay until the end, you'll understand why a small percentage of people repeatedly create wealth, while millions continue repeating the same financial mistakes generation after generation. The final lesson is the one almost nobody is willing to accept, yet it changes everything. Watch carefully, because one idea could save you years of struggle. Lesson 1. Stop seeing yourself as the victim. The greatest prison is invisible. It's the belief that someone else controls your future. Poor people often spend years blaming politicians, their parents, their country, the economy, their employer, their bad luck. And while some of these obstacles are real, they become dangerous the moment they become excuses. Machiavelli would say that fortune influences life, but it never controls all of it. He believed that the people who rise are those who adapt faster than circumstances change. Think about this. Two people can be born in the same neighborhood, attend the same schools, experience the same hardships. One spends life complaining, the other studies every opportunity available. 10 years later, they live completely different lives. What changed? Not the environment, the mindset. Victims wait for rescue. Strategists create exits. Every hour spent blaming life is an hour not spent improving your value. And value is what the marketplace rewards. Not suffering, not fairness, not intentions. Your pain does not automatically create success. Only useful skills do. This realization is uncomfortable because it removes the comfort of excuses. If your future depends on your choices, then your failures also become your responsibility. Most people don't want that burden. They would rather believe the game is rigged than admit they've been playing it poorly. The day you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I control today?" everything begins to change, because responsibility is heavy, but helplessness is heavier. Lesson 2. Poverty loves immediate pleasure. Human beings are wired to chase comfort. The brain constantly whispers, "Eat the expensive meal, buy the newest phone, celebrate before you've earned anything, rest before the work is finished." This is exactly how poverty survives. Not through one massive mistake, but through thousands of tiny pleasures chosen over long-term freedom. Machiavelli admired people who could sacrifice today's comfort to dominate tomorrow, because every empire requires delayed gratification. The poor often buy symbols of wealth. The wealthy buy assets that eventually produce it. One buys appearance, the other buys leverage. Ask yourself honestly, how many purchases in the last year actually made you richer? Not happier, richer. Most purchases disappear within weeks, but investments continue paying you for years. The dangerous part is that comfort feels harmless. After all, it's only one meal, one vacation, one luxury, one impulsive purchase. But poverty is built exactly like that, brick by brick, decision by decision, until one day you realize years have disappeared. Meanwhile, someone else made different choices. They learned a valuable skill instead of watching another series. They invested instead of impressing strangers. They built relationships instead of chasing temporary excitement. Success rarely arrives through dramatic moments. It arrives through invisible habits repeated every day. People admire the result, but ignore the sacrifices that created it. Freedom is purchased long before anyone notices you're becoming successful. Clue to lesson 3. Your friends predict your financial future. This is one of Machiavelli's harshest realities. Power spreads through proximity. So does weakness. Look closely at the conversations happening around you. Do your friends discuss opportunities or gossip? Do they build ideas or destroy ambitious people? Do they challenge you or encourage mediocrity? Energy is contagious, so are expectations. If everyone around you believes earning more is impossible, eventually you'll believe it too. Not because it's true, but because constant repetition becomes reality inside the mind. Notice something about highly successful people. They intentionally place themselves near individuals who think bigger than they do. This isn't arrogance, It's strategy. Growth requires discomfort. If you're always the smartest person in your circle is probably too small. Most people fear leaving familiar environments, even if those environments quietly destroy their ambition. Why? Because belonging feels safer than growing. Machiavelli understood that influence shapes destiny. Who you admire, who you listen to, who you spend weekends with, who you ask for advice, these people slowly become the architects of your future. Choose them carefully, because habits spread faster than inspiration. If your closest circle normalizes excuses, you'll eventually excuse yourself. If they normalize discipline, you'll naturally become more disciplined. Your environment whispers instructions every single day. The question is, are those whispers leading you toward wealth, or quietly pulling you back into poverty? Lesson 4. Stop selling time. Start building value. Most people believe they are paid for their hours. They're not. They're paid for the value those hours create. This is one of the biggest illusions keeping people trapped. Imagine two individuals working 8 hours. One sweeps floors, the other negotiates million-dollar contracts. The same time, wildly different income. Why? Because time is equal, value is not. Machiavelli understood that power comes from becoming difficult to replace. The more replaceable you are, the lower your bargaining power. This is why learning rare skills changes everything. Communication, sales, negotiation, leadership, marketing, technology, problem solving. These skills multiply income because they solve expensive problems. The market doesn't reward effort. It rewards usefulness. That may sound unfair, but reality has never promised fairness. It only rewards value. Every day ask yourself one question. If my income disappeared tomorrow, what skill could I use to earn it back? If you don't have an answer, that is where your focus belongs. Because money follows competence much more reliably than luck. And competence compounds. Every book, every project, every conversation, every difficult challenge adds another layer to your value. Eventually, people stop paying for your time. They start paying for your judgment. And judgment is infinitely more valuable than labor. Lesson 5. Emotions make expensive decisions. Most financial mistakes are emotional. People buy to impress, spend to escape stress, borrow to maintain appearances, quit too early because progress feels slow, stay in comfort because change feels frightening. Machiavelli warned rulers that emotion clouds strategy. The same applies to money. Imagine making every financial decision while completely calm. No excitement, no fear, no envy, no panic. How much money would you save? How many mistakes would disappear? The wealthy often appear cold because they separate feelings from decisions. They don't let temporary emotions control permanent consequences. The poor often reverse this. They make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. That one habit silently destroys years of progress. If you master your emotions before you master investing, you are already ahead of millions. Because wealth is rarely lost in spreadsheets. It's lost in moments of emotional weakness. Fear, greed, pride, impatience. The battlefield is inside your mind before it ever reaches your bank account. Lesson 6. Nobody is coming to save you. This is perhaps the hardest truth anyone can accept. From childhood, many people are conditioned to wait. Wait for the government, wait for the perfect job, wait for a wealthy relative, wait for an opportunity, wait until life becomes fair. Years pass. Nothing changes. Because waiting feels productive when, in reality, it is only disguised surrender. Machiavelli understood that powerful people never build their future on someone else's mercy. They build it on preparation. Look around you. The people who changed their lives were rarely handed perfect circumstances. They started with broken tools, small apartments, old laptops, cheap phones, second-hand equipment, limited resources. What separated them wasn't what they had. It was what they refused to wait for. Most people overestimate what they need before they begin. I need more money. I need better equipment. I need more connections. I need more time. No, you need momentum. Momentum creates opportunities that planning alone never will. Think about fire. The hardest part isn't keeping it alive. It's creating the first spark. Success works exactly the same way. Once people see movement, they begin offering help. Investors appear. Customers arrive. Mentors notice you. Doors begin opening. But only after you've proven that you're moving without them. The world rewards motion, not intention. There is something strangely comforting about believing someone will rescue you. Because if rescue is coming, you don't have to change. You don't have to take risks. You don't have to become uncomfortable. You simply wait. And poverty quietly applauds your patience. The uncomfortable reality is this. Nobody is lying awake at night planning your success. Nobody cares about your dreams as much as you do. And that's not depressing, it's liberating. Because once you accept that nobody is coming, you stop waiting, you start building. That single mental shift has created more millionaires than luck ever has. Lesson 7. Protect your reputation like your life. Depends on it. Money follows trust. Power follows reputation. And reputation is built one decision at a time. Machiavelli understood something many people still ignore. A damaged reputation is more expensive than an empty bank account. Because money can be earned again. Trust often cannot. Imagine two people with identical skills. One is known for keeping promises, showing up on time, delivering quality work, remaining calm under pressure. The other is known for excuses, broken commitments, late deliveries, emotional outbursts. Who do you think receives better opportunities? Who gets recommended? Who attracts investors? Who gets hired first? Your reputation speaks before you do. People decide whether they trust you long before they hear your ideas. Many people chase quick money while sacrificing their name. They scam, they lie, they manipulate, they burn bridges, and later wonder why every opportunity disappears. Machiavelli wasn't telling people to become immoral. He was teaching them to understand perception. If people perceive you as dependable, disciplined, intelligent, they naturally want to work with you, and opportunities multiply. Every promise you keep is an investment. Every excuse you make is a withdrawal. Eventually your reputation becomes either your greatest asset or your greatest liability. Protect it. Because doors often open for character long before they open for talent. Lesson 8. Learn to be alone. This lesson terrifies most people. Silence exposes who you really are. Many people cannot sit alone for 10 minutes without reaching for their phones, without opening social media, without distracting themselves. Why? Because stillness forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. Machiavelli believed that leaders needed solitude, not because they hated people, but because clear thinking requires distance from constant noise. Most breakthroughs happen in silence, not crowds, not parties, not endless conversations. When you're always surrounded by opinions, you slowly lose your own. The poor often consume entertainment every free moment. The wealthy often use those same moments to think, reflect, study, plan, observe. Silence becomes their competitive advantage. Notice how easily people are influenced. One trending opinion changes their beliefs. One viral video changes their priorities. One friend's criticism kills their ambition. A person who cannot think independently will always live someone else's life. Learning to enjoy your own company is not loneliness. It's freedom. Because once you stop needing constant validation, you become impossible to manipulate. People lose control over you. Their approval no longer determines your direction. Their criticism no longer stops your progress. The strongest people in history weren't those with the loudest voices. They were those who could remain calm in complete isolation while everyone else searched for applause. If you cannot be alone, you will always be dependent. And dependence is the enemy of wealth. Lesson 9. Your attention is being stolen every day. There is a reason so many people feel busy, yet accomplish almost nothing. Your attention has become one of the most valuable resources on earth, and everyone wants it. Social media companies, news outlets, streaming platforms, advertisements, notifications. Every second they keep your eyes on a screen. Someone else becomes richer. Meanwhile, your own dreams wait patiently in the background. Machiavelli never had a smartphone, but he understood distraction. He knew that whoever controls your focus eventually controls your future. Imagine giving someone just $1 every few minutes. Eventually you'd notice the money disappearing. Yet people give away something infinitely more valuable. Hours, entire days vanish, weeks disappear, years quietly slip away. Not because people chose failure, but because they never noticed where their attention was going. Attention is like sunlight. Scattered light warms, focused light burns through steel. Every successful person eventually learns this lesson. Protect your mornings, protect your evenings, protect your concentration. Because every interruption has a hidden cost. It isn't just the few seconds spent looking at your phone, it's the momentum you lose. The ideas that disappear, the work left unfinished, the discipline slowly eroding. Poverty doesn't always begin with an empty wallet. Sometimes it begins with a distracted mind. The person who controls their attention controls their destiny. Everyone else becomes controlled by algorithms designed to profit from distraction. The question is simple. Are you building your future, or helping someone else build theirs while yours remains unfinished? Lesson 10. The rich think in decades. The poor think until Friday. Most people make decisions based on what feels good this week. The wealthy make decisions based on what will matter 10 years from now. This single difference quietly separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. A poor mindset asks, how much money can I make today? A wealthy mindset asks, what can I build that continues paying me long after today's work is finished? One focuses on income. The other focuses on systems. One chases quick wins. The other compounds small victories for years. The difference seems small in the beginning, almost invisible. In fact, if you watch two people for a single week, you might not notice any difference at all. One works, spends, repeats. The other works, learns, invests, repeats. Both look the same from the outside. But time has a strange habit. It rewards the person who plants seeds long before anyone else notices the harvest. Machiavelli understood that power is never built overnight. Kingdoms were not established in a day. They were built through patient strategy, calculated decisions, and the willingness to sacrifice immediate comfort for lasting control. Your financial life is no different. Every skill you master today becomes a weapon tomorrow. Every relationship you build becomes a bridge to an opportunity that doesn't yet exist. Every dollar you save becomes a soldier working silently for your future. The tragedy is that most people abandon the process because they expect immediate rewards. They plant a seed on Monday and dig it up on Friday to see if it has grown. When it hasn't, they convince themselves that success isn't for them. Then they start over, again and again, never staying in one direction long enough for momentum to work its magic. The wealthy understand something the poor often overlook. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Working 18 hours for one day means very little if you disappear for the next 2 weeks. Saving money for 1 month changes almost nothing if you spend recklessly the month after. Reading 1 book will not transform your life. Reading 100 just might. The greatest fortunes in history were not built through one brilliant decision. They were built through thousands of ordinary decisions repeated with extraordinary discipline. This is why escaping poverty is simpler than people think. Not easier, simpler. The formula has never been hidden. Spend less than you earn, increase your value, protect your reputation, control your emotions, invest consistently, stay patient. Repeat. The difficulty is not understanding these principles. The difficulty is following them when nobody is watching. When your friends are spending money you know you shouldn't spend. When social media convinces you everyone else is already successful. When progress feels painfully slow. When your bank account still doesn't reflect the sacrifices you've been making. Those are the moments that decide your future. Because discipline that depends on motivation isn't discipline at all. It is emotion wearing the mask of commitment. Real discipline continues long after the excitement has disappeared. Machiavelli knew that the greatest battles are never fought on open fields. They are fought inside the human mind. Every morning you wake up, 2 versions of yourself begin negotiating. One wants comfort, the other wants freedom. One wants entertainment, the other wants growth. One wants recognition today, the other wants respect 10 years from now. Every decision you make casts a vote for one of those versions. Eventually one becomes your identity. The uncomfortable truth is that poverty rarely arrives overnight. It is accumulated. One unnecessary purchase, one missed opportunity, one excuse, one wasted afternoon, one abandoned goal, repeated thousands of times until the result feels permanent. Wealth works exactly the same way. One saved investment, one new skill, one meaningful connection, one difficult conversation, one extra hour spent learning instead of scrolling, repeated long enough that success becomes inevitable. People often ask what separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones. They expect the answer to be intelligence, talent, education, luck. But history tells a different story. Some of the wealthiest people in the world began with almost nothing. Some of the smartest people remain broke. Some of the most talented never reach their potential. Why? Because information alone has never changed lives. Execution does. Knowledge that stays inside your head has no value. Knowledge applied consistently changes everything. That is why this video is not really about money. Money is only the scoreboard. The real game is becoming the kind of person who can create value regardless of circumstances. Take away their wealth, and they know how to build it again. Take away their status, and they know how to earn respect again. Take away their comfort, and they still possess discipline. That is true power. No one can steal a disciplined mind. No recession can erase valuable skills. No setback can permanently defeat someone who refuses to stop adapting. This is why Machiavelli's lessons remain relevant centuries later. He never promised a fair world. He never claimed that life rewards good intentions. He simply observed reality without emotion. Those who understood reality gained influence. Those who ignored it became victims of it. You now stand at the same crossroads. You can leave this video inspired for a few hours, only to return to the same habits that have quietly shaped your life. Or you can make one decision, not 10, just one. One habit to eliminate, one skill to master, one unnecessary expense to cut, 1 hour each day to invest in your future, one promise to yourself that this time you will actually keep. Because escaping poverty doesn't begin when you become rich. It begins the moment your daily decisions no longer resemble those of the person you used to be. Remember this. The world does not reward potential. It rewards proof. Not what you say you'll become, not what you dream about becoming, but what you repeatedly do when nobody is watching. As Machiavelli reminds us, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Whether you agree with his ruthlessness or not, one lesson stands above them all. Reality does not care about excuses. It responds only to action. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop negotiating with your future. Stop expecting tomorrow to fix what only today's discipline can change. The life you want is being built or destroyed by the choices you make after this video ends. The question is no longer whether you can escape poverty. The question is whether you're finally willing to become the person who does.